The classroom on Station Meridian was shaped like a half circle, with high ceilings and walls made of clear material that showed the stars beyond. Students from 20 different species sat in chairs designed for their bodies. Some had multiple legs. Some had wings. Some floated above their seats. But all of them stopped talking when Professor Kale walked to the front of the room. Kale was a Vorthian, a species known for their strength and warrior history. He stood 2 meters tall with thick muscles under gray skin. His hands had sharp claws that clicked when he moved. His dark eyes looked at the students like he was judging each one of them. Lauren Mitchell sat in the third row. She was human, 22 years old, with light brown hair and lean muscles. She had trained in martial arts since she was 6 years old. Her mother was Earth's defense minister, and her father was a combat officer. Fighting was in her family blood, and she had taken it seriously her whole life. "Today, we talk about combat," Kale said. His voice was deep and made the air vibrate. "Combat across all species. Combat across all worlds." He touched a control panel, and a screen lit up behind him. It showed different alien species fighting with weapons. There were Vorthians with laser guns, Krell warriors with energy blades, Zephyrians with plasma cannons. Each image showed advanced technology and powerful weapons. "Every advanced species uses technology to fight," Kale said. "Weapons are the sign of a civilized warrior. Strength and claws and muscle mean nothing without tools. This is why great species conquer worlds. This is why we build empires." Kale clicked to the next image. It showed humans. The image was old, from Earth's 20th century. It showed soldiers with guns, tanks, helicopters, and missiles. "Humans are the same," Kale said, and some students made sounds that might have been laughter. "They are dependent on weapons. Without guns and machines, they are nothing. They are soft. They are weak. Their bodies are fragile. A Vorthian child could kill a human adult with bare hands." Lauren felt heat rise in her chest. She kept her hands flat on the table in front of her. Kevin Hayes, another human student sitting next to her, looked at her with worry. He knew what she was thinking. "In fact," Kale continued, walking across the front of the classroom, "humans cannot fight barehanded at all. This is a simple fact. Their evolution on a soft world made them dependent on tools. They never developed real combat instinct. They never needed to. This is why humans are observers in the galaxy, not warriors. This is why humanity has never been respected by true fighting species." Lauren raised her hand. The classroom went quiet. Kale stopped walking. His eyes turned to look at her. Slowly, his mouth moved into something that might have been a smile, but it showed his teeth like a threat. "Yes, human?" he said. "Do you have a question?" "I have a challenge," Lauren said. Her voice was steady and clear. "I want to request a formal sparring match with you. Right now, if you are willing." The classroom erupted. Vorthian students made harsh sounds. Krell students whispered to each other. Kevin grabbed Lauren's arm, but she pulled it away gently. Kale's smile grew wider. "You want to fight me?" he said. "Hand to hand? With no weapons?" "Yes," Lauren said. She stood up from her chair. "If your words are true, you should be able to defeat me easily. You said humans cannot fight barehanded. Let me prove you wrong, or let you prove your words in the combat chamber." Kale looked at her for a long moment. He was measuring her, looking at her small frame compared to his massive body. Then he laughed. The sound was like metal scraping against stone. "This will be interesting," he said. "We will go to the combat chamber. Everyone will watch. Then you will understand why humans hide behind weapons like cowards." Lucas Bradford, the academy commander, stood up from the back of the room. He was tall, with gray at the sides of his hair. He had fought in wars himself, long ago. This is highly irregular, Bradford said. Mismatched species fighting without supervision could result in death. Then the human will die, Kale said. This is combat. Death is always a possibility. We will have medical teams standing by, Lauren said, looking at Bradford. And I accept the risk. Commander, I am invoking my right as a student to participate in sanctioned combat trials. Bradford studied her face. He had seen that expression before in soldiers who were about to do something dangerous on purpose. He nodded once. The match will be in 2 hours, he said. Full medical supervision. Combat Chamber 7. All safety protocols will be followed. Kale nodded and turned back to Lauren. I will break one of your bones, he said. Just one, so you remember this lesson. Humans do not fight warriors like me. Lauren did not look away from his eyes. We will see, she said, simply. The words spread across Station Meridian like a signal wave. A human challenging a Vorthian professor in formal combat. The betting markets opened within minutes. Aliens from hundreds of species made wagers. The odds were 300 to 1 against the human. Some betting groups would not even accept human bets because the odds were so obviously wrong. In the preparation room, Lauren changed into combat clothing. It was simple and light, allowing full movement. Kevin waited with her. He was worried. You know you could die, he said. I know, Lauren said. But if I do not do this, Kale wins without fighting. His words win. Human reputation loses. What if his words are correct? Kevin asked quietly. Lauren smiled. It was a real smile, not a nervous one. They are not, she said. I have trained my whole life. My mother fights. My father fights. Humans have been fighting since before we had written language. We are not soft. We are not weak. She stood up and looked at her reflection in the mirror. Her muscles were tight. Her breathing was controlled. She was ready. Today, she said to herself, I prove what Kale does not understand. Today, I prove what humans really are. The walk to the combat chamber took 5 minutes. By the time she arrived, over 500 spectators had already gathered in the viewing area. The chamber itself was a large circular space with soft floor material to prevent injury from falls. Medical teams stood at all 4 stations around the edges. Kale was already there, standing in the center, stretching his enormous arms. He looked at Lauren as she walked onto the platform. He did not look concerned. He did not look cautious. He looked amused, like he was about to watch a child try to lift something too heavy. The medical director gave them both final checks, then nodded to indicate the match would begin. This is a sanctioned trial, the director announced. Combatants will fight until one yields, or until medical personnel declare the match must stop. Both combatants understand the risks. I understand, Lauren said. I understand, Kale said, still smiling that dangerous smile. Combat begins in 3, 2, 1. Now, the director said. Kale charged forward immediately, moving faster than something so large should be able to move. His claws were ready. His arms were ready to crush or tear. He had killed in real wars. He had fought battles. He had never lost a fight in his life. Lauren sidestepped his first charge. He was fast, but she was faster. She was smaller, but that was her advantage. She began to circle him, waiting, watching, learning how he moved and where his weaknesses would be. The crowd watched in silence. The real test was about to begin. The second day of preparation was harder than Lauren expected. Her muscles ached from the training session. She had run for 2 hours, practiced every technique she knew, and pushed her body to its limits. Now she sat in the medical bay while a doctor examined her shoulder. No injuries, the doctor said. The doctor was Kelthian, with 4 eyes and thin gray skin. Your body is efficient. Good endurance. flexible joints. Why are you fighting a Vorthian? Because he said I could not, Lauren said simply. The doctor made a sound that might have been laughter or might have been concern. That is human logic, the doctor said. Always proving things. Always fighting for honor. The Vorthians fight for victory. They fight to win. They do not understand fighting for principle. Maybe that is why humans will win today, Lauren said. The news about the match had spread across the entire station. The main communication channels were discussing it. Humans on Earth had heard about it. Hundreds of species across multiple worlds knew that a young human woman had challenged a Vorthian warrior. News networks were creating special broadcasts. Academic experts were being interviewed about human physiology and combat capability. In the academy cafeteria, the talk was about nothing else. Tables of Vorthian students laughed and talked about how quickly the match would end. They were making jokes about the human who wanted to die. Other species were more respectful. The Zephyrians, who valued courage, nodded when they heard what Lauren had done. The Krell, who respected combat skill, said nothing but watched the interview footage of her training. Kevin sat with Lauren at lunch. She ate normally, not thinking about the match that was coming in less than 20 hours. I have been reading about human combat history, Kevin said. Did you know that in ancient Earth times, humans fought other humans barehanded? No weapons. Just training and skill and knowledge of how to use their bodies? That is why I'm confident, Lauren said. Every human learns this in school. Martial arts come from thousands of years of humans fighting each other and learning what works. Wrestling, boxing, judo, karate. These are not new things. These are old things that humans have perfected. But Kale has been in real wars, Kevin said. He has killed beings much larger and stronger than you. He's not learning combat theory. He is using survival instinct. Survival instinct is not enough, Lauren said. She looked at Kevin with certain eyes. Survival instinct works when you do not understand your opponent. Kale looks at me and sees a weak thing. That is his mistake. I look at him and see patterns in how he moves. I see where his strength creates slowness. I see where his size creates vulnerability. Kevin wanted to believe her, but doubt still sat in his mind. The day before the match, Commander Bradford requested a meeting with Lauren. He was in his office, looking out at the stars beyond the station. When she walked in, he turned to face her. I reviewed your medical history, he said. You have broken bones 3 times. Dislocated shoulder twice. You have been to medical facilities more than any other human on this station. I have trained hard, Lauren said. Martial artists get injured when they push their bodies to learn. I also reviewed Kale's medical history, Bradford continued. He has never been seriously injured. His wounds heal faster than humans. His bones are denser. His muscles are stronger. On every physical measure, he is superior. Lauren did not respond. She waited. But I also reviewed something else, Bradford said. He touched a control, and a video appeared on his screen. It showed Lauren fighting against a large Krell training robot. The robot was programmed to fight like a Vorthian with strength and speed. Lauren fought it for 6 minutes. She was exhausted. She was bleeding from a cut on her forehead. But she moved with precision and intelligence. Every movement was calculated. Every technique had purpose. Finally, she disabled the robot by targeting a specific joint. When it was over, she collapsed to the floor. You know how to fight, Bradford said. Not like a Vorthian fights, but in your own way. The question I have is whether your own way is enough. It is, Lauren said. But even if it is not, I have to try. If I do not stand against what Kale said, then his words become truth. Bradford nodded slowly. Then I will make sure the medical teams are the best. And I will make sure that if you are losing, they pull you out immediately. Thank you, Lauren said. That night, Lauren stood in her quarters and looked at her hands. They were small compared to Kale's claws, but they were strong. She had thrown much larger people. She had defeated opponents with more natural strength. Technique was not something you were born with. Technique was something you built through thousands of repetitions, thousands of hours, thousands of failures. She stretched slowly, feeling her muscles respond. She thought about her mother, who had fought in conflicts across 3 continents. She thought about her father, who had trained soldiers and taught them how to overcome opponents who seemed unbeatable. She thought about every human who had ever stood against something larger and found a way to win. The next morning, the match would begin. The entire station would be watching. Hundreds of species would be watching. For one moment, all their eyes would be on her. Lauren closed her eyes and saw the combat chamber. She saw Kale as he would be in the beginning, confident and certain. She saw herself moving like she had practiced 10,000 times. She saw herself calm and controlled while he grew angry and frustrated. She did not know if she would win, but she knew she would fight. And she knew that even if she lost, humans would be different because of what she tried. That was enough. The combat chamber was packed. Every viewing section was filled. Some spectators floated above the ground. Some clung to the walls. The chamber had been designed to hold 500, but nearly 800 beings had somehow squeezed inside. Security had given up trying to maintain order. The excitement was too great. Kale was already waiting when Lauren entered. He was in the center of the chamber, and he had removed everything except his basic clothing. His gray skin was visible, showing the dense muscle underneath. His claws were extended. He looked like what he was, an apex predator from a warrior species. Lauren stepped into the chamber. The crowd went quiet. The medical director came forward. Rules of engagement. This is hand-to-hand combat with no weapons. The match ends when one combatant yields, when medical personnel declare a stop, or when one combatant loses consciousness. Both combatants understand? I understand, both of them said. Combat begins now, the director said and stepped back. Kale did not wait. He moved forward immediately, arms extended, claws ready. He was fast. He was strong. He was confident. He thought the match would be over in seconds. Lauren stepped to the side. Kale's first. Attack passed through the space where she had been standing. His claws scraped against the soft floor material, leaving marks. He was so focused on catching her that he did not adjust his balance properly. Lauren grabbed his extended arm and used his own momentum to throw him forward. Kale hit the ground hard, but he rolled and came up moving. The crowd made sounds of surprise. Not bad, Kale said. He was not smiling now. But you just got lucky. He charged again, this time not trying to grab her but trying to hit her with his claws in a raking motion. Lauren moved under his attack and struck the inside of his elbow. It was a pressure point. Kale's grip weakened for a moment, and his arm dropped. She used that moment to move behind him. She tried to apply a hold to his neck, but he was too strong. He threw her off by spinning his entire body. Lauren hit the ground, rolled, and came back to her feet. The crowd was no longer laughing. Kale was breathing hard now. He realized the fight was not going to end immediately. He changed his approach. Instead of charging, he began to circle her, watching, measuring. This was how real fighters thought. Kale was learning. That was dangerous. For 5 minutes, they moved around each other. Kale was faster and stronger, but Lauren was smarter. She used angles. She used his own strength against him. When he threw a punch, she sidestepped and struck his ribs. When he tried to grab her, she twisted away and hit a nerve point in his arm. Each strike was small. Each technique was precise. She was not trying to knock him down. She was trying to teach his body that fighting her came with pain. Kale was getting frustrated. His movements were becoming less controlled. He was trying to end the fight through pure force, and pure force was not working. He threw a wild punch, and Lauren moved underneath it. She grabbed his arm and his shoulder and pulled him in a specific direction using his own momentum. Kale flipped and landed on his back. The sound from the crowd was loud now. Some beings were excited. Some could not believe what they were seeing. Kale stood up slowly. His chest was moving fast. He was tired. Humans had better endurance than Vorthians. They could maintain effort longer. Their cooling systems were more efficient. Kale had been taught this fact in academy, but he had never believed it mattered. Now it was mattering. "You fight with cowardice," Kale said. His voice was angry. Moving away, running. A true warrior stands and fights. "A true warrior wins," Lauren said. She was breathing hard but controlled. "I am winning," Kale roared. He came at her with no strategy, just rage and strength. Lauren moved to the side, and he hit the wall. The impact was hard enough to crack the material. Lauren was on him before he could recover. She grabbed his arm and his leg and threw him again. Kale hit the ground, and this time he stayed down for a moment. When he got up, something had changed in his eyes. He was not playing anymore. He had realized that he might actually lose this fight. Kale came at her again, but this time with more control. He mixed power with technique. He was using everything he knew. But everything he knew was designed to fight other Vorthians or other species with similar physical capabilities. Lauren was different. She was smaller. She was faster. She understood joint locks and pressure points that Vorthian anatomy made vulnerable. They fought for another 10 minutes. The crowd was loud now, but Lauren barely heard it. She was completely in the moment. She was watching Kale's body, reading every movement, predicting what he would do before he did it. This was what training did. Training gave your body memory. Training made technique automatic. Kale tried to grab her head, and she ducked under his arms. She grabbed his wrist and twisted it in a specific way. Kale's hand opened involuntarily. That was not something he was doing. That was basic nerve response. His body did what her technique forced it to do. She applied more pressure, moving into a position where he could not escape. His arm was locked. His body was positioned so that any movement would increase the pain. He had two choices: yield or have his arm broken. Kale breathed hard. His pride fought against the reality of the moment. "I yield," he said finally. The crowd erupted in chaos. Lauren helped Kale to his feet. His arm was shaking, and his breathing was still heavy, but he was not seriously injured. She kept her hand on his shoulder as they stood together. In the center of the chamber, the medical director came forward and declared the match complete. Lauren Mitchell had won. Human had defeated Vorthian. The crowd made sounds. Some were celebratory. Some were confused. Some were shocked. Nobody had expected this outcome. Nobody had predicted that a small human would beat a large Vorthian in hand-to-hand combat. Kevin was on his feet, cheering. Other human students were doing the same. But more interesting were the reactions from other species. The Krell, who respected combat, were nodding in acknowledgement. The Zephyrians were making sounds of honor. Even some Vorthian students were looking at each other with new understanding. As Lauren walked out of the combat chamber, she moved slowly. Her body hurt. She had several bruises. Her shoulder was painful. But she was smiling. The medical team wanted to keep her overnight, but she refused. She went back to her quarters and sat alone, thinking about what had just happened. The recording of the match was spreading across the station. It was being uploaded to the larger communication network. Within hours, all of Earth would see it. Within days, every world in the galactic community would know that a human had defeated a Vorthian warrior. But the match itself was not the most important thing. The match was just the beginning. Commander Bradford called an emergency meeting with the station council. The council consisted of representatives from 17 different species. They met in a secure chamber in the center of the station. The human student's victory raises important questions, Bradford said. We have based our understanding of human capability on limited information. The match today suggests our understanding is incorrect. One human defeated one Vorthian, a Krell representative said. This does not mean humans are strong. It means we should study them more carefully, a Zephyrian said. We have been underestimating them. I have been analyzing Earth's history, an alien scientist said. The aliens were known for their research ability. I have made a discovery that is very interesting. Humans evolved on a planet called Earth, with gravity 30% higher than most habitable worlds. Earth also has an atmosphere with less oxygen density. Despite this, or perhaps because of this, humans are physically superior to what we believed. The alien displayed data on the council screen. It showed information about Earth's environment. It showed comparisons between human physiology and other species. It showed survival records, historical data, and biological information. Furthermore, the alien continued, humans have a history of warfare and combat spanning tens of thousands of years. They have developed hundreds of different fighting systems. They have fought each other and other species. They have learned through constant conflict how to overcome opponents who appear to be stronger. Are you saying humans are a warrior species? A Kelthian asked. I am saying humans are more than we believed, the alien said. And Earth itself may be more dangerous than we classified it. Within hours, the Vorthian Council of Seven, the highest military authority in the galactic government, called an emergency session. They reviewed the match footage. They reviewed Earth's historical records. They reviewed the new biological data. On the Council's main screen, the image of Lauren Mitchell fighting Kale played over and over. Each council member watched it carefully. They were looking for what they had missed. We classified humans as non-threatening, one council member said. We thought they were dependent on technology because of their weaker bodies. We were wrong, another said. If Earth produced warriors like this in their youth, what would a military trained from childhood look like? A third council member asked. Earth has already sent one warrior to prove their capability, the first said. What if they send more? The meeting lasted for 12 hours. By the end, the Vorthian Council had released a statement. It classified humanity as a warrior species worthy of respect. It recommended that galactic policy toward Earth be revised. It suggested that humans should be given a position on the Trade Council and representation in the Galactic Assembly. For years, humanity had knocked on the door of the galactic community. For years, they had been treated as minor contributors, interesting but not important. Humans had technology and resources, but they were seen as less than the Advanced Species. One match changed that. Lauren was invited to speak before the Station Council. She stood in the same chamber where Kale had taught his class. But now the seats were filled with important beings from across the galaxy. What you proved today is not just your own strength, the Zephyrian representative said. You proved that humans have something we underestimated. Discipline, technique, the ability to learn and improve. You proved that human underestimation was our mistake. Thank you, Lauren said simply. But I want to be clear. I did not fight Kale to prove humans are stronger than other species. I fought him to prove that humans are worth respecting, that we are equals, that we should have a voice in galactic decisions. You have that voice now, the Krell representative said. The vote has already been recorded. Humanity is being invited to join the Galactic Assembly. You will have representation. You will have a seat at the table when decisions are made. News of the decision spread back to Earth immediately. The response was overwhelming. Celebrations were held in every major city. Humans around the world watched the footage of the match and felt pride in what Lauren had accomplished. But Lauren was thinking about something else. She was thinking about the responsibility that came with this moment. Humanity had been given a chance. Humanity had been given respect. Now humans had to prove they deserved it. 3 months after the match, Lauren returned to Earth. She was met at the spaceport by her mother, who was now the primary human representative to the Galactic Assembly. They embraced, and her mother looked at her with mixture of pride and concern. "You have changed things," her mother said. "Do you understand what you have done?" "I challenged someone who was wrong," Lauren said. "I did not expect it to change the whole galaxy." "But it did," her mother said. "And now you have to live with that." The first Galactic Assembly meeting with human representation was scheduled for 2 weeks. Earth was sending 5 representatives. Lauren's mother as the primary diplomat, Kevin Hayes as an academy liaison, 2 military leaders, and 1 scientist. They would sit in the Great Hall where representatives from every advanced species met to discuss trade, law, conflicts, and the future. But before that meeting, Lauren had something to do. She returned to Station Meridian and met with Professor Kale. She found him in his office, looking at documents on his screen. When she walked in, he looked up with careful eyes. "I wanted to thank you," Lauren said. Kale made a sound of surprise. "You want to thank me?" "I said you were weak. I said humans could not fight. I said you would lose." "Exactly," Lauren said. "If you had believed in me, if you had respected humans from the beginning, this match would never have happened. Nobody would have been forced to confront their beliefs about us. Your disrespect created an opportunity for change." Kale stood up. He was still large, still powerful, but something in his expression had changed. "I have been reading about human history," he said. "I have been learning about your martial arts traditions. I have been studying how humans have fought each other and other species throughout your history. I was wrong in what I said." "I know," Lauren said. "But now others know too. That is what matters. Will you continue to fight?" Kale asked. "As a representative, I might," Lauren said. "Not in combat chambers, but in debates and discussions. Earth has a voice in the galactic community now, and I want to make sure that voice is heard." Kale extended his hand. Lauren took it. It was a gesture of respect between warriors from different species. "I will watch for your voice in the assembly," Kale said. Lauren left his office and walked through the academy corridors. Things had changed here too. Human students were being given more respect. The academy was revising its curriculum to include human combat techniques alongside other fighting systems. A new course was being taught about Earth history and human capability. Kevin found her in the main library. He was with several other students, humans and non-humans, studying together. "Come and help us," Kevin said. "We are preparing a presentation about human evolution. The Academy wants to understand why we are so adaptable." "Later," Lauren said. "I need to rest today." That night, Lauren stood on the observation deck of the station and looked out at the stars. Earth was somewhere out there, a small planet in a vast galaxy. For thousands of years, humanity had looked at the stars and wondered. Now humanity was part of the galactic community. Now human voices would be heard. But she also knew that this was just the beginning. There would be resistance. Some species would not accept humans as equals. Some would try to maintain the old system where Earth was a minor player. There would be conflicts and disagreements. But Lauren had proven something important. Humans could stand against odds that seemed impossible and find a way to win. Humans had intelligence, technique, discipline, and a will to survive that ran deep in their species' DNA. The Galactic Assembly met a week later. Lauren watched from the human delegation area as representatives from every advanced species took their places. The hall was enormous, with seats arranged in a great circle. Each species had a section. As Lauren's mother walked to the human section and took her seat, hundreds of eyes turned to watch. Humans had arrived. Humans had claimed their place. Humans would no longer be ignored. The first debates were about resource sharing and trade agreements. But when the discussion turned to military alliances, Lauren saw something interesting. Species that had previously ignored human opinions were now listening carefully to what the human representatives were saying. The confidence that came from proving human strength had changed how other species treated human words. 2 years passed. Lauren graduated from the academy and became an official liaison officer between the Galactic Assembly and Earth's government. She trained other humans to serve in diplomatic and military roles. She established an exchange program where humans and other species trained together, learning from each other. The match with Kale became famous. It was taught in military academies across the galaxy as an example of how technique and intelligence could overcome raw power. Human martial arts became a subject of serious study. Species that had never considered fighting barehanded now recognized it as a valuable skill. But the most important change was not in combat training or military strength. The most important change was in how humans were perceived. They were no longer seen as interesting but weak. They were seen as equals. They were seen as having something valuable to offer the galactic community. Earth itself became more important. The planet's harsh environment, which had once been seen as a disadvantage, was now understood as a source of strength. Humans had evolved on a difficult world, and that difficulty had made them strong. The harsh environment had created a species that could adapt, survive, and overcome challenges. On Earth, Lauren was made an ambassador. She traveled to every major city, talking to people about what had changed. She was celebrated and respected, but she was careful to explain that the change did not come from her alone. It came from hundreds of years of human struggle, human determination, and human refusal to accept being less than they could be. 5 years after the match, Lauren stood once again in the Academy combat chamber. This time, she was not fighting. She was teaching. She was showing human students and non-human students together how to apply techniques correctly. The chamber that had once been a place where humans were assumed to be weak was now a place where human knowledge was respected and learned. Kale came to watch one of her classes. When it was finished, they talked. "I think about that day often," Kale said. "The day you defeated me. I was so certain of my superiority. And now?" Lauren asked. "Now I understand," Kale said. "Strength is not just about muscles and claws. Strength is about will and knowledge and the ability to learn. Humans have all of those things. All species do," Lauren said. "I did not defeat you because humans are better. I defeated you because you did not understand me, and I understood you." "That is wisdom," Kale said. That night, Lauren wrote a message to her mother. She told her about the changes in the academy. She told her about the new respect that humans were receiving. She told her about the future she could see for humanity in the galactic community. "The match with Kale started everything," she wrote. "But it also revealed something important. Humans have always been strong. We just needed the chance to prove it. Now that we have that chance, everything is different. And everything is going to be different for generations to come." She sent the message and looked out at the stars. Somewhere among those stars were worlds that humanity had never visited, challenges that humanity had never faced, opportunities that humanity had never imagined. But now humanity would meet those challenges and opportunities as equals. Now humans would stand alongside other species without fear or shame. Now humans would help shape the future of the galaxy. All because one human raised her hand and said she disagreed. All because she was willing to fight for what she believed. All because she proved that humans were more than anyone had given them credit for. The future had changed, and humanity's place in it had changed too. Not because humans had conquered anyone, but because one young woman had the courage to stand against doubt and prove that humans deserved respect. That was enough. That was everything.